single thing is only because you like plenty gossip.
If you see a man, you know that was bad.
Real bad,
Turning on your leaf, well, you should be glad.
so glad.
Encourage and help him to get along.
Yes, man.
Instead of trying to pull him back down.
No, no.
That's wrong.
On Dependency, with Garth and Natasha.
Reality radio, at its best, where every life is a biography.
Sundays, at 10 a.m., and exclusively, on I-95.5 FM.
And streamed live, on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page, and YouTube channel.
Morning. Stand by. Good morning and welcome to Eye on Dependency, the show where we confront the hard truths, ask the real questions, and bring voices to the forefront that don't always get heard.
This morning we are turning our attention to a system that most people never see and many prefer not to think about, the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. There's been a lot of talk lately and not all of it has been good.
Overcrowding, staff shortages, repeat offenders. We know the issues, but today we want to push deeper. What is a prison for? Is it about punishment, rehabilitation, revenge, or redemption?
And is it time to rethink it all? Some say restorative justice offers a better way, one that centers healing and accountability instead of just locking people away. But is that even possible here?
Helping us to unpack it is someone who knows the system inside out. Former Commissioner of Prisons, Gerard Wilson. He'll be joining us shortly to share what he's seen, what's broken, and what might still be fixed.
And as always, we want to hear from you. We will open the phone lines later in the show. So put your thoughts towards this question. What should a prison be in a society like ours?
For instance, those of you who love to break traffic lights, if you kill someone while doing it, what would you like to happen to you while in prison? Mr. Wilson, good morning to you.
Morning, Garth and Natasha. It's
Thank
nice
you.
to be here. Morning to the listener and viewing public.
It's a pleasure
Welcome.
always to have you.
Yes.
You have been serving your country and you have not stopped. In your capacity now, you are continuing with Vision and Mission and you are doing human service to Trinidad and Tobago. However, to joggle the mind, or just to give you a little historical context, Natasha, I'll do the first part.
Mm-hmm.
And a historical context will set the scene so that we have a very good conversation with Mr. Wilson, and possibly you, the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, will understand prison, the origins and all of that. So we did some research, and the origins in Europe, the idea of prisons as punishment is relatively recent. In medieval Europe, punishment was swift and brutal. Executions, floggings, banishment. Prisons were used more for holding people before trial than for sentencing. In the 18th and 19th centuries, With the rise of industrial capitalism and Enlightenment thinking, prisons became seen as a tool for moral reform. Institutions like Newgate in the UK and Walnut Street Jail, USA, began experimenting with solitary confinement, hard labor, and religious instruction as ways to correct behavior. The British penal colony model also sent thousands of prisoners to Australia and other territories, part punishment, part labor supply.
And in our context in Trinidad and Tobago, the legacy of colonialism and the impact of colonialism as far as correction goes, as a British colony, Trinidad and Tobago inherited the British penal model, which was rigid, hierarchical, and discipline-focused. The Royal Jail in Port of Spain was built in the 19th century and followed the colonial template, focusing more on control than rehabilitation. Prisons were designed as part of colonial social control as well, especially targeting the poor, indentured populations, and those seen as politically or socially disruptive. Even after independence, much of the system, from the laws to the language to the infrastructure, remained largely intact, with only piecemeal reforms over time.
Today, many countries are grappling with whether prisons should primarily punish, deter, or rehabilitate. Restorative justice, rooted in indigenous practices and now gaining traction in the West, focuses on accountability, healing, and repairing harm, not just incarceration. In the Caribbean, though, most prison systems are still based on the older British model, with limited resources for education, therapy, or reintegration. Mr. Wilson?
Morning.
Morning
Again.
again. So let's jump right into it, sir. As we said, you have sat for how many years? You served for how many years? The prison
Over
service?
36 years.
How much?
Over 36
Over
years,
36 years. And your time as commissioner was
From 2017 to 2020.
right. What's your assessment of the prison system today?
Beautiful. Nice question. So we start. In my view, I have looked on and from time to time, Natasha and Gart, you will hear me saying we. We because I still feel part of the system.
Yes,
so you hear me saying things like we.
In your blood.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you're damaged.
That's right. Very much so. Right. So I have looked on, I have listened to the conversations, from the present administration, from past administration, and of course from the public. And I feel that prison right now needs a bit of resuscitation. It needs some air. Failure to do that, it will die. And not die in the sense that we would not have inmates. Die in the sense that that demotivation, the fact that officers are crying out and demotivated, will continue to have an issue, a problem in the service. This is my view, right? So that we need to breathe some life into the prison system, because prison officers feel they don't feel part of the criminal justice system at all. And I remember in my tenure, once I go to a meeting, I will ensure that the prison is the focus, right? Or it's part of the focus. Because many times you have a plan, but a plan without the prison service, right? I want to give you this example. There was a time I went to, the past commissioner of police, that is Mr. Williams, we used to have meetings all the time, and they were doing an assimilation exercise with terrorists and what have you. And somebody from the defense force was doing a presentation. And they had captured one of the terrorists in Gasparillo. So I was sitting there and I asked the question, when you captured this terrorist, what are you doing with him? So Commissioner Williams and the others started to laugh because they knew where I was coming from, right? And I said to them, I said, well, a little again, I was going to, pack up and leave because there's no use for me here. Well, why am I in this meeting, right? And I said, it's the same problem that we had in 1990. We had the coup. We had the Muslims in Port of Spain prison realize that the prison officers were not trained to deal with that type of inmate. And then they went down and they opened CDP, Chagaramas detention, right? Because they realized that they needed to do more. It's the same thing is happening here with this assimilation. The prison service is not involved. And those are some of the issues that we need to address. So when you look to me, we have to have that assessment, we have to have some dialogue with the powers that be, the prisons commissioner, and all parties in the criminal justice system in order to move ahead. I will tell you why. Failure to do that, Garth and Natasha, the inmates will sit down and continue to plan and will be ahead of us. And that is what is happening.
So let me go to question 2 then.
Sure.
Has the system changed much since independence?
It has, because we would have moved from, because when you look at rehabilitation and reformation, there are two different things, right? Slightly different. One really deals with rehabilitation, deals with the core issues, right? Like addiction and trauma and that type of thing. And reform deals with following the laws and the norms and that type of stuff. So that you look to assist the person in two ways, right? That it means rehabilitate and reform. And when we come to restorative justice, if we talk about that, I will tell you that it's a buzzword that we use, but we don't understand it at all. I
agree.
So when we look at where we're moving, we have moved to reformation and rehabilitation is always there. And that is the thing. Sometimes people don't understand that we have always been rehabilitated inmates, always. I remember in Golden Grove when I joined the service, you had persons like Dave Small and Rudolph Garcia and persons who, in their own way, we didn't have a formalized programs yet, a Fenta Ragu. We didn't have a formalized programs yet, all right? But these guys would do things, have a little football game, have a little competition, do things in order to have it's like small arithmetic and English and so on.
So I guess Mr. Husbands and Mr. Roger were part of that.
Well, they came in really with when we had the 2002 Batista Task Force report, right. Mr. Husbands, and they played a vital role, critical role in doing that. That is 2002. Okay. But I'm talking when I joined the service in 1983, you had these persons who were there all the time doing things in their own way.
Taking the initiative.
That's right. So they will have like a football game against probably dormitories, and they say, okay, the winner will get a case of soft drink or KFC or something like that, right?
So let me ask. So they were actually involved in corrections and not even know it then?
I didn't even know it. That's it.
Right.
They were doing what their heart told them to do.
Right.
Rudolph Garcia. Anytime those were the foundation persons in the prison service, where that rehabilitation is concerned. Reformation is a bit different. And reformation is more attached to restorative justice because it goes deeper into the psyche of the inmate.
If you just join... Sorry, go ahead.
So I would say, to answer your question, we have moved a bit. We have moved a bit.
Right.
Whether we there, we are about probably 65-70% there, but we need to do more.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we have in studio with us former Commissioner of Prison, Mr. Gerard Wilson, and we are picking his brain this morning for much educate you out there. At the same time, in the next hour, we want to hear your idea. You have enough time to think, because we know for sure that a lot of you out there think that prison should be ball and chain, sledgehammer and big stone. That's it. And as a matter of fact, when people go in there, they shouldn't even come out, as far as some of you concerned. So we're going to deal with that this morning. We give you enough time to think. What's your idea? If you had any idea and we could help you change that this morning, well, fine. Tasha?
Yeah, so as we talk about how the system has changed since independence, given the fact that, yes, we're independent, but we still, the institutions that govern the country are still colonial in nature.
Yeah.
How do you think that has impacted on the way that the prison service delivers what they're supposed to in terms of public safety, etc., to the public?
Well, in terms of colonialism, the only thing I could really look at in the prison service that has this strong nexus would be the 1838 Act. that we still follow, right?
Right, yes.
And the association will always talk about this 1838 Act. Now, the 1838 Act.
1838.
38 Act.
Imagine that.
That's around slavery time, right? When the
Yes.
abolishment of slavery and so on.
Yes.
So that the association will always talk about that 1838 Act that we follow. So there are things, for instance, I'll tell you. You cannot, in one of the rules, in terms of the rules, you cannot give an inmate. If you see an inmate outside, you should not give him money. So there should be no pecuniary transaction between an officer and an ex-inmate. Not even an ex-inmate.
Wow.
Right? Now, how do you really rehabilitate or reform if somebody meets you out there and says, I need to get, I am hungry. You don't have to give them the money, but buy something for them. They look at that as a transaction.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So those are some of the things that are still there that we have to so it's a, I don't know, it's a catch-22 because how am I going to walk away from an ex-inmate in dire need of something and want to follow the rules at the same time?
Correct.
Right? And it goes now, Gata and Natasha, to training. How do we train them? And I guess we'll talk about that shortly.
Right.
How, in terms of the training, what do we look at? Because if we have the 1838 Act haunting us, then there are things in there that we need to modify. So there has been some amendments to the Act,
Yes.
but it's not all there.
Well, we have that question on the list, so.
Oh, okay.
Natasha,
Yeah, we do. And that's interesting that you mentioned we still functioning from that base, from 1838
Act,
colonial times.
How far?
And I think what you just described, the example you gave, speaks to how inmates or persons who run afoul of the law spend time in prison are to be treated.
Right.
By not just by prison officers, but by society in general. It kind of puts a stain on you, and that law is meant to keep people in a certain place, right? But when we talk about, and you spoke a little bit about rehabilitation, you think rehabilitation has become a kind of a buzzword now too?
Well, not rehabilitation, but restorative justice. We don't understand it. But rehabilitation is really rehabilitation, and it has been happening all the time, so I don't think it is a buzzword. People understand it. The thing with that is whether people, and I'll tell you this, it's difficult, and I say that all the time, for society that is really, fed up of the crime and the home invasions and the murders and what have you, to talk anything about rehabilitation. They don't want to hear it at all.
Yeah.
So when you go out there and you try to push that rehabilitation, they say, let them throw away the key, lock them up, that kind of thing, because they're hurting. And I understand how people feel, because it is, look, just before, we came in the studio, a friend of mine was telling me that an officer, her grandmother was subjected to home invasion last night. And they tried to put a pillow over her face, and she's 80-something, and then they beat the brother. So people are fed up. So when I come to talk about, okay, here is ex-inmate John, who has done so much and whatever, some people say, oh, God, good job. And some people say, me, I don't want to hear that, Because I am fed up of the crime, just take them, put them on some island, and don't let them come back out.
Yes.
Okay, so.
But if God, just to stick up in terms of rehabilitation in the context of our circles, in terms of drug abuse, you have a certain outcome in mind. You have a certain, for the individual, you want the individual to come to terms with the fact that he has a disease, that, recovery is an ongoing process. Is it a similar kind of rehabilitation that we talk about when we're talking about prisoners?
It is, because I will tell you this, right? I think I was either deputy commissioner or commissioner at the time. I was really, really embarrassed because I was part of this drug court committee. And the magistrate was telling me that there was this guy who, once you're in that program, they will check you, on the spot. They will call you and check you for drug use. And he was clean. But he had a matter and he had some time to do, a short time to do, and he did the time. And when he came out, he was he had drugs, he failed the test. And I was embarrassed
prison?
because, yes.
So he was
So
clean.
he was outside, clean all the time outside. And this is when the magistrate was laughing and she was kind of giving me kuya mouth now.
Yeah.
Because she said, look,
Yes.
the man outside all the time. Every time they spot check him, he's good. He did a short time in prison and came back out, and when they checked him, he wasn't clean.
Wow.
Right.
It says a lot in terms of the
Yes,
system.
yes.
No.
Now,
Go ahead.
right, yeah. My thing is, what I was looking for is like a rehab in Golden Grove, fence a particular part of it, and do a serious rehab program there. That was my vision, right? So you come into the system because God, about 75-80%, I'll go further than that, of the persons coming in for whatever crime, the core issue is always drugs.
Abuse, yes.
Drug abuse, always.
Yes.
I have the data to prove that.
Okay, there we go.
Vision and Mission has it.
Yes.
Because when I was engaged in the pre-release program with them, before I got started, I asked the question, how many of you in here for drug-related crimes? And if you have 20 people in the class, 18 will put their hands up.
Yes.
The other 2 were selling.
That's it.
You understand?
Right, yes.
Now, remember when they had New Life Ministries started a program in the prison.
Yes.
That was working.
Yes.
But again, politics got in the way, and because of who was involved, it was shut down and never reopened.
Yes, yes.
Right? Now, excuse me, I went to rehabilitation 3 times,
Okay.
and that didn't work for me out
Right.
here. It's when I went to prison, and the gate slammed, that woke me up.
Yeah.
And I vowed that when I leave prison, I will never, ever go back to crack cocaine, ever in my life again. And I've kept that. Now, the thing is, I had to do that rehabilitation myself.
Right.
Didn't have any programs then,
Right.
Right.
and I was working on an outgang with Mr. Luces,
Right.
and I involved myself in basketball.
Right.
I won the Kaiso Krong in 91, all of that. I kept myself occupied. Now, the thing is, we talk rehabilitation, but as you said, there are a number of people going to prison for drug-related offenses.
Yes.
And if the drug treatment courts work in tandem with the prison, we could turn a lot of lives around. But I don't know why we're not forcing that issue.
Let me give you some company, God, some company. Natalie Cole, the daughter of Nat King Cole, said that she has been to the best rehab centers in the world.
Yes.
She could have afforded it.
Yes.
She said, and if you ask her if she thinks she will go back to take drugs, she cannot answer.
Yeah.
So it says a lot in terms of you going 2 or 3 times. Are you better? No. It can happen like that.
Yeah.
It just takes a trigger to do it.
That's all.
Right?
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel that the reason we are having this problem, again, this is just my opinion, we have to stop fighting crime, Gat and Natasha, on the streets. On the streets. We keep fighting crime on the streets all the time. And the softer skills we're not paying attention to.
Yes.
What are the core issues? What is happening? I keep lamenting that you have young men coming out of school without a pass, without a skill. Are we tracking them? Are we saying, okay, we have, and let me tell you, and you're talking about every year, are we tracking them? When they come out and they go on the block and they are enticed by the nice things, could they or do they have any control over that? Because they need to eat, they need to wear things, they need to go out because they see other persons doing it. I have said to God, there's a particular theory in criminology, strain theory. I don't know if anybody is taking me on. Strain theory says if I don't have the skill and the education, I'm putting it in a nutshell, it says more, but in a nutshell, if I don't have the skill and the academic ability to look like the other persons, like the drug lords and these people who have drive the nice cars and the nice girls and the nice, doing nice houses and pool and so on, what I will do, I will turn to crime to get it. Because I don't have the skill and the education and strain theory. Right? Now, if you look at the functionalist perspective from sociology, it says that success in life means a wife, children, a house, a dog, a white picket fence, that kind of thing. If I don't have that, I am not successful. Right? If we sit down and we look at that, then we will get to the core of the issue. We have to look at the education system. We have to change a lot of things. I remember saying this, and Dr. Shepard had more or less put me in my place for that. When you say a person is not academically inclined, he said, don't ever say that. He said, everybody is academically inclined. Agreed. It depends on your approach.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
He said, because people use it loosely. Yeah. I use it all the time. Oh, well, the person is not, he said, anytime or not, it means that you're brain dead.
And there's proof of that.
Of
because
course.
there are a number of people who went to prison without a pass and came out with 10.
Correct.
Thank you.
So which means the environment,
yeah,
they have to, they need a stronger and a more controlled environment for them to retain. And because they can, listen, if these same children who leave in school with no passes,
yes,
nothing,
yeah,
carry them to a Bojo Bantan concert,
right,
or carry them to, what's the next
Cartel?
guy? Cartel concert. Yeah. They will stand in that audience and sing every song word for word.
That's right, yeah.
How? And they retain that?
Yeah.
So then, which means they can retain and
right.
they're academically inclined.
And
I can't even understand half the things Cartel and them to be singing.
Right.
But them trying to sing it word for word.
And God give them your phone now, and they'll say they'll go through your password and go inside there and do a million
Correct.
things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because children learn in different ways.
Absolutely.
Right? And I also said, God, you have bullying in school, you have to use a different method. I used it in prison and it worked. You take the informal leaders, the bullies, and give them responsibility.
Yes.
Make them feel important.
Yes.
Say, John, come. You have potential, do this. You will take a list of the children coming late, and you will take whatever it is. Oh, all of a sudden, he becomes
bad like crap.
He becomes a hero.
Yes.
Yeah, so he removes that energy to bully to something else.
Yes.
Why aren't we trying those things?
Isolate them.
Yeah.
Instead. Yeah.
So I'm saying, let us stop fighting the crime on the streets. It's too late. Fight it in the church, the community. And when I say church, people say, crime in the church. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that you have to get your children in our days. We have to go to Sunday school and so on, right? And then you talk about God-fearing. What is God-fearing? God-fearing is if I tell you, God, as a little child, if you don't do this, God will punish you. You will cry for days, because you hear God will punish you. Or I will bring the police for you. Now you tell a child that they're laughing at you. Right? So in the church, and how do you get them into the church? Again, parenting. So we could go to a myriad of issues that will come back to one thing, the core. What do you look at as the core issues?
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are in studio here with Mr. Gerard Wilson. We have 10 questions for him that we would like to answer for you this morning. And let me go to question number 5. And Mr. Wilson, again, when we advocated for the drug rehab facility in the prison, it was started and unfortunately stopped. However, I am seeing the behavior in some people where they show a man stealing a power washer from the back of a pickup.
Yes.
He's not going to start a business with that.
Right.
Right? If I pass in your yard, or I pass by your yard in the morning when I leave home to go and hunt, and I saw a bike in the yard, if I come back home empty-handed, I will take your bike and carry it by the pusher.
Yeah.
All right? Now, the prison officer, when police do their job and arrest this individual for theft and all these different things, and he ends up on remand, the prison officer has to deal now with someone who is craving for drugs, who's craving for even as simple as a cigarette, which we'll get to that in a moment. What about the staff? Are they being trained for modern correctional work?
That is debatable, and I've had an issue with that, and I will tell you my experience and the experience from others coming up. To me, when you go to the college, the emphasis is on really you being strong and being able to, like, self-defense and what have you, to control and that. So the emphasis is really on control. Tackle man management is hardly used because it doesn't make you an officer that people will look at and value, right? So when they look at you and say, boy, God is a serious man, don't play with that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I have left this with the prison service. It is better to be respected than to be feared.
Yes.
When inmates fear you, they fear you in prison. When they respect you in prison and out of prison. I have left that with them. If you don't want to follow it, fine. The thing is, I don't know why people feel inmates come from space, you know. It is a microcosm of the society. What you find out here is what you have the same persons going into prison. And they are not foolish. They sit down and they plan and they plot and they decide what they're going to do and they manipulate. One of the most dangerous things, Gata and Natasha, is a night duty, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, one of the most, I will tell you why. When you work in a night duty, you have sometimes, you're in a condemn by yourself or in a division by yourself, the bat shot. You looking according to the young people to cut a flick, you know. So you start talking your business now and you starting to, right? And then what the inmates do, they kind of chain you up. They say, oh God, they say, boss, I see you out there, you know, your clothes, you know, your clothes are easy, you know. You like clothes and things, and they'll start to look at your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities. If you have a car, boss, what kind of tires you have there? Oh God, no man, I can send you by John. Right? You'll get tires for half the price. Right? You like wild meat? Go, a car will come and drop some for you. So when you work night duty, if you're not strong, because you're lonely, you're looking to talk. If you don't have an officer there, you're talking to inmates. Or when two officers talking, inmates listen. So when they catch you again, they come and they tell you all the things you like and what and where you're living and how much children you have and that kind of thing. So they make you a study. And they make you a study and then they see the vulnerabilities and they act upon it. That is why we in our modern system, in terms of the question you asked, in terms of training, we have to do all those things so that the instructors must be able or must have the experience and the lines in order to pass that information. That is not from a text. You cannot find a text. In fact, when I taught criminal justice at Costa, and I could tell you, the text that we had, I modified it to suit us. It's different. The culture is different. The culture is different, so you can't take a text from America and bring it here. And I don't think we have a text that is written by a Trinidadian, right, or Tobagonian, that tells us what our penal system is like.
Yeah.
And how
inmates and officers supposed to interact.
Yes, interact and what we have here.
Yeah.
We can't take things wholesale from here and from America and bring it here. I have looked at the Singapore model. We always talk about the Singapore model in economics, right?
Yes.
Singapore is a small country and Trinidad is a small country. However, the culture, the people are different. So the sacrifices they made, we're not going to make it.
Correct. Yeah,
So why, I don't want to hear, right.
Yeah.
So don't tell me about the Singapore model. We have to design the outfit to suit the cloth we have.
Absolutely.
Listen, Trinidad and Tobago, and this is what we're preparing to show you. I'm not going to let it all the bag, but when you see conditions of certain prisons, you as a society will understand why we're pursuing this, why we even engaging Mr. Wilson. Because I look at the Netherlands model. You look at the prison cells out there, they look like offices. The beds, the TV, the everything.
Yeah.
We make a big hasikara for one TV inside here, our prison. And every cell outside, we'll get to that. Natasha, before we take a break, let's go to the other
Final
question.
question before we go to take a break. You spoke earlier about success and what makes a system or successful. How do you measure success in the corrections environment?
Natasha, you'll probably in trouble now because I'm going to an area here where people might get upset. But we measure success by the recidivism rate. All right? How many persons coming back? However, how do we determine recidivism in Trinidad and Tobago? You ever thought about that, Gart? And this is where I'll get in some trouble. We quote statistics, right? The recidivism rate is this and that, and we boast. If 10 persons come out of prison today, and 6 of them are killed, it means they can't go back, right? So how are you checking recidivism rate by those who are not coming back? You must have a follow-up. Another thing, a few of them might migrate. Some may come to the remand and never get convicted. So it's a revolving door in the remand, not in the convicted. Right? So when you're checking recidivism, remember you're checking recidivism in the convicted. That's how you check it, you know.
Okay.
So that person is really committing acts of crime out there, coming back in the remand, beating the system through whatever technicality, bail as the case when comes back out. You can't check him because he has never been convicted of a crime. Right? So how do you track recidivism really? And why am I giving statistics on that? And I always have a problem with that. We have to be more scientific to come up with the recidivism rate than we do now. It is not just about seeing who comes back, it's about tracking them out there.
Yes.
And seeing what has happened. Because another thing, to me, recidivism would mean that you came into the system, I exposed you, there was some intervention, I exposed you to something, and you don't have the same habits. But if you come into the system selling drugs, you go back out selling drugs, you didn't come back, but your habits remain the same, have not done anything. Another thing too, if there's no drug intervention, what you have is a revolving door. So we say recidivism, I come in for drugs, my intervention has nothing to do with drug rehab, then what is it? So if I keep coming back all the time, how you could say recidivism, you're not helping me? Recidivism, you must, when you come into the system, you must have an intervention. So if you come in and you like, raping people and that type of thing, and I don't deal with you, you go back out, you do the same thing, you come back. Why am I checking recidivism when the intervention is absent?
So and also the ratio of remanded inmates versus convicted also kind of gives a lopsided picture as well.
Of course. It's about 70% probably remanded and 30% convicted. And because of the slow judicial process.
Yes.
And most of the problems come from the remandees.
Right. Yes. And what about if in the 70% of remandees, what about if 40% of those are really recidivists? But they're not meeting the convicted, they're not getting there. But they're coming back all the time.
Now, let me ask you, as you during your tenure, was it required for people coming in on remand to do drug tests, to take a drug test to see what substance that they were using?
The thing about it, because of the laws and what have you, right, it cannot be compulsory.
See what I mean?
Right? You can't be compulsory to say, okay, you have to do this because the law of fraternity will come down on you.
But why? But if we are looking at the interventions that are required for this individual to leave prison rehabilitated or better person, then you have to, my mind, you have to look at these things as well.
So what they do, what the infirmary would do, the doctor will do sometimes, even HIV, what they would do is if you come to the infirmary, they will take blood from you. But they may test it otherwise. So they wouldn't tell you this is for this. But in a general checkup, they would do it to see what is happening. But the law is a funny thing. You have to be very careful with making those demands.
So
is it benefit? No, sorry, Natasha, no, I don't want to lose this. Is it benefiting the legal luminaries to have it like this?
No, but that's the question. That is why sometimes when a man cuts off a baby's head, and the lawyer goes to defend, we criticize the lawyer and we say what the lawyer defending them for, that's their job.
Right.
So when you talk about, if it not benefiting them financially, it's not going to, they have to defend their client.
So let me ask this question now. I may get in trouble for this, but we are accustomed. I mean, blacklisted, you name it,
right.
Gloves closed. We are accustomed to it now. I get numb to it. Look how long Raji Ali in prison. Let's use him as an example. Right? So much so now that he given the state problems again.
Right, yeah.
Why is it that he or any remandee, I know there are people in prison for 15, 16, 20 years on remand.
Yes.
Why does it take so long, Mr. Wilson? It's time the prison speak up now.
Yeah.
Because the prison getting the stick for it, but all the prison job really is to keep them,
Yeah.
The prison can't release people on their own.
No, we can't. No. We have a warrant. You have a warrant to
Right.
keep them until a certain time.
So then somebody missing from this picture here. And why is it that someone must be on remand after 5 years? If you cannot convict someone, send them home.
But God, that goes to what Mr. Wilson said earlier, that the prison system as a system is not a genuine part of the
Criminal justice system,
justice system. It's an afterthought.
Right.
Because I'm glad you brought that up, Natasha. One of the things that I was trying to fight for, still trying to do it, is use programs as compulsory. Compulsory. You're coming to compulsory. Right
Yes.
now it is not.
You don't have
so
a choice.
Exactly.
Yes.
So inmates come in and they go in the shed and they lime and they talk and they probably talk about the next robbery they're going to commit. You have to do failure to do that. You have no remission to get.
Correct.
So it must be compulsory.
Compulsory.
I want to add the drug testing to that too. You see, and
Yes.
that way we could collect some data
Yes.
to find out what is the predominant drug driving people to do what they do out
Yes.
there. We have zombies out there, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, I tell you, maybe people don't understand what craving is.
Yeah.
And somebody will, there's some people, okay, you're going out, we have a lime, what you want to eat? I want JFC, right? And some next person say they want a roti. Now, the person who feeling for JFC,
Right.
if you bring back a roti for them, they pelt you with it.
Right.
Because they wanted, that's what on their taste buds.
Yes.
It's the same thing. There are people who cannot start their day without coffee. There are
Right.
people who cannot start their day without Coca-Cola.
Right.
They will go crazy. Even a cigarette. We don't understand craving.
Right.
I realize that.
Yes.
We don't understand addiction. They just see me as worthless. People run me down in San Fernando. Just a couple years ago, I was a respected instructor in the regiment.
Right.
But I found myself running from a madman from Ward 1
Right.
down Broadway,
Right.
chasing me because I thief somebody money in the hospital. I am not kidding. That happened. No. When I look at myself, I'm thinking, how I reached to this boy? Is then I understood what craving is. Like, people don't understand that intense craving. So much so that you would choke your mother and steal her money.
Addiction.
How do we fix that?
Yeah. God, the next thing, one of the things I've learned is that if you want to be popular and you want everybody to like you, then sell ice cream, right? Because everybody like a different flavor, but they love ice cream.
Right.
So sell that. But you are going to say things and do things that will piss people off, right? It doesn't matter to me. When I sat on the chair, I remember John Roger. He's not too well now, and I'm sorry to know that.
Yes.
But John Roger said something at he said, the top is lonely. It is lonely. Because you have to make decisions that are unpopular. Right? And I will tell you, one of the, you see, we don't have a corporal rank in the prison service. So from prison officer 1 to prison officer 2, a prison officer 2 is a sergeant.
Oh.
Is equivalent to a sergeant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
we
that.
don't have that corporal rank there at all.
So you have from prison officer 1.
1 to 2, which is a sergeant rank.
So 1 is which rank? Constable?
Yeah,
Okay,
constable.
equivalent?
1 is constable.
Okay.
2 is sergeant, and when you go to supervisor is inspector. And then when you from there go to ASP, and it's normal ASP, superintendent, senior sup going up. That is normal.
So a prison officer 2 is equivalent to a sergeant?
A sergeant, that's right.
Okay.
Has a sergeant rank. So a prison officer 2 could go down in your base, army base, and go in the sergeant's mess.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right?
You see,
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
something today. I
Right.
didn't
So
know
that is what happens. When you look at the system, you will understand why from prison officer 1 to 2 is difficult, because the prison officer 1 yesterday was just liming with prison officer 1s, and then when he comes to prison officer 2, he has to write up and charge and instruct.
Yes.
It's difficult for him to move, that mindset to move, to say, okay, this is my partner, and I need to write him up. And that is why former Commissioner John Roser said that the top is lonely, because you have to make decisions that are unpopular.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are speaking with former Commissioner of Prison, Mr. Gerard Wilson. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, we have a couple more questions for him, for Mr. Wilson, and then, of course, the counter-trafficking unit, again, is in the news, and we have some of that news to share with you, and we thank the Ministry of Homeland Security and counter-trafficking unit for making this program possible. Let's go to a break. Remember, you're on Facebook. If you're having any problems, please hop across to the YouTube channel and
And
Please
please
remember.
like and subscribe to the channel while you're there. Let's get the likes up on the live on Facebook and YouTube, please.
Let's go, because we have lots more to discuss, including I want to again to speak about a prison inspector and what we would like to see change where that is concerned. Having one prison inspector in this situation here is a waste of time. I say it without fear of contradiction. Of course, we talk about cigarettes. Why is it not allowed in prison? Because Mr. Wilson always reminds us it is not illegal, but he will explain in more detail. And how can we slow an officer getting into problems with sneaking a pack of cigarettes in for an inmate because we don't understand addiction. Nicotine as well is a drug. Let's go to a break. We'll be back.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Dobson here from HMP London. Can I speak to Mr. James, please?
This is Mr. James speaking.
Thank you. Can you hold the line? I have a call coming through to you, sir.
Sure. Hello, Daddy. Hello, yes, Brian?
Daddy, I'm just calling to tell you that look up in the UK for drug trafficking.
Oh, yeah? You lock up? And you tell me I was going to Tobago? And I tell you about them boy I was liming with? Well, all right. Don't drop the soap. Cheerio.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best every Sunday on I 95.5 FM.
Slavery, a terrible time in our history. The kidnapping, buying and selling of people for profit, the exploitation of another human being. It still exists today. It has a new name: human trafficking. Anyone can be a victim. There is forced labor, sexual exploitation, and domestic servitude. Human trafficking is a worldwide problem and an emerging concern for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you know of or suspect human trafficking activity, call the counter-trafficking hotline at 800-4CTU or 800-4288. Human trafficking is a crime. Identify it, report it, stop it. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Join us this Sunday, the 3rd of August, for episode 31 of Eye on Dependency, reality radio at its best.
The prison system is under fire again. But beyond the bars, beyond the headlines, the real question is, what should a prison be? A place of punishment, a space for rehabilitation, or is it time to fully embrace restorative justice and rethink corrections altogether? We're unpacking this question with former Commissioner of Prisons, Gerard Wilson, who's pulling back the curtain on what really happens inside and what really needs to change. We'll also be taking your calls and comments on this question. So listen live from 10 a.m. on I 95.5 FM or watch live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page or YouTube channel. The Counter-Trafficking Unit, Ministry of Homeland Security brings you Eye on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and we are really enjoying this conversation here with former Commissioner of Prisons, Gerard Wilson, and he's now in the business of rehabilitation, again, as part of the Board of Vision on Mission, another organization that is doing human service in terms of rehabilitating former inmates and deported nationals.
Now, as you say that, Natasha, I remember deceased Wayne Chance.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I feel like him. And the only thing is I decided I'm not going to let it kill me. But
Yeah.
I came close many times.
Yes.
You know, stress, feeling depressed. Because the people who should understand
Yeah.
addiction and going to prison and coming out
Yeah.
treated me like if I will forever be that guy.
And that's how they see you.
Yeah.
That's how they see you.
And I'm talking about people who will stand on podium and speak to our audience during World Day Against Drug Trafficking and all of that, and spew the best language you could hear from them. But deal with them outside of that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to them. It's just words for them.
Garth and Natasha, please give me a second to say morning to retired Commissioner of Police James Philbert. He now sent a message to me.
Morning, Mr.
Philbert, I really appreciate your kind sentiments. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Coming from you, I'm blushing.
That's one of the men, boy. One of the men.
No, he is a soldier. Trust me. He's a leader.
Quickly, when we waiting on Mr. Philbert to do a feature address, remember in Chagrama's, a youth club presentation. He's supposed to reach there for 9, 9:30, the man ain't reach yet. Next thing you know, we hear, hey, I'm the force here. He's stopping at roadblock, to help him in. I said, but this man people sit down and he ain't passed with no flashing lights and come down the road. He stayed in the roadblock.
You sit down and listen to stories of him.
We're trying to get him here, but the boss lady, the boss lady.
Morning, boss lady.
Morning, boss lady. Because remember, he was very responsible for Dolce.
Yes. If you hear that story,
But he had to get permission, so we waited till he get permission.
Yeah, he said many times he going home and thing, and some crime take place, and he stop and gone. He gone behind.
Now he was a true police officer.
That's a policeman.
So, what would a modern Caribbean-rooted correctional system look like in your eyes?
Right. I don't think we have to change much because we have to keep our culture. We don't have to change much the configuration, and I'm happy you asked that because MSP is the only prison in Trinidad and Tobago configured as a prison, right? Remember, you spoke about Port of Spain prison, but Port of Spain prison wasn't built as a prison, right? Then you had the remand in Golden Grove. I think they used to keep voting machines there at one time and so on. So it's only now they're trying to put toilets in cells and what have you. So MSP was built with the toilets and so on, but still it was not built in a way to accommodate reformation in how I would like it to be. Now the thing is, my view of how we should change in the Caribbean, because Jamaica is doing it. I mentioned Jamaica before. Jamaica is doing it well, and Jamaica, the resources, I'm sure they didn't have the resources that we have, but Jamaica have parole. They have parole, and when I asked the question, what they did, because we were thinking of parole here, but using parole officers. They are using probation officers to do the parole with a 95% success. So somebody asked the question, how come, there's so much violence in Jamaica? And when they mix it up, parole has nothing to do with the amount of violence. The persons who would have gotten parole probably have a 95% success. So what people getting confused with the crime rate in Jamaica and parole. It's two different things. So those persons who committing all those offenses, probably if they had access to parole, they would change.
But what is the difference for our audience between parole and probation? What's the connection? Because I think people having an issue in terms of the definitions. Of
right.
What
So in terms of parole is you come into the system and you leave before time. You leave before time. Right? So you come in, it's like remission. But you come in and you have, let us say, a long sentence. Based on behavior, you go before the board and they assess you and they say, okay, this person is fit to go back out before time. Probation, on the other hand, is your conduct, and so they do a probation report. So they look at your conduct outside and they say, okay, these are the stipulations, and if I will write a report, and then they would say, okay, you could, I will allow you to go. You know that kind of thing? Yes. So probation is different. There are probation officers out there, and that is why sometimes when they go before the court, the magistrate asks for your probation report. It's a report on your conduct and your behavior, not in prison, outside.
Outside.
Right? So they follow you up, the probation officer come and, chat with you and that kind of thing, and hear what you're doing now. You're still going to the bar, that kind of thing, and submit a probation report, and the magistrate will act on that probation report.
Do you see a work release 1 year before a person actually, because you have your release date, would it make sense to have someone do work, go to work from the prison and come back to the prison, but you get them accustomed now to the life on the outside, working 8 to 4, being responsible, and before you totally free them?
Well, then you just answer the question that Natasha asked, because that is one of the things we can do if we want to get with the times in a Caribbean perspective.
You just open a gate and tell somebody, well, time to go.
That's it. We can do that. So we could say, okay, when we look at you, you could go out and work and come back, and it happens in YTRC. Okay. Remember, we send those young men to different places to work, and they come back every evening. Okay. In YTRC it happens, right? So they go out, they work. So a lot of them work by Arawak and places around, and they go to work, and they come back in YTRC. We haven't moved that to the bigger institutions. But as you said, that is one of the considerations if we're trying to move into modern day in terms of corrections. Yes. And I want to say this too. In Jamaica, they are called correctional officers. So they have moved to that. Right? And there are a number of things that they need to do to get there. They would have moved to that. So they are now called corrections officers. And I think if we do that, and I want to say this. So God, I could throw all the program off here, because when I know all you have some fixed questions I want to ask, but when I start to talk corrections partner, prison, I could talk that for the next week, because my heart is it and I love it. The thing about it is, when you look at how we approach prisons, and that's what I talk about resuscitation, we need to breathe some life, some air into it. If we don't do it, then we will find ourselves going wrong in circles.
Well, let's just answer a question before I ask it, because we ask, can restorative justice realistically work here?
Right. The first question you have to ask is, what is restorative justice?
Right.
And people don't understand. So I remember in prison, even with officers, you take a soft drink and you hand an inmate. They say restorative justice, No, I'm telling you, any act of kindness is what they call restorative justice. But the fundamental principle of restorative justice is the person taking responsibility for their actions. And also, when you look at taking responsibility and that mediation between offender-victim. Those are two crucial elements in restorative justice. I want to give you a nice example when people don't understand what is restorative justice. I have made up this example, and I want to use it on the program here. You have this individual in Port of Spain who is a drug addict. So he goes into one of the schools and he steals 2 laptops, 2 computers, and he go on with that. He go on and sell it for $1, right? Police hold him, he goes into prison. They say, okay, I sentence you to 2 years or 3 years. What did the children achieve anything? Did the school achieve anything? No. All they did, they put him behind. He went there and probably find drugs in the jail and come back out worse than he went in. Right. So here restorative justice now. The magistrate say, okay, the school had some classrooms to paint. This guy is a painter. So they say, all right, come partner, here what's going on. Paint these classrooms for me. Because the school was now going to spend $80,000 to paint the classroom.
Thank you.
So he painted the classroom, and attached to that is a rehab program.
Thank you.
Right? Now when he comes in the environment and he's painting, he may see little pictures of children painting something, and then he may feel some form of remorse because he's saying, but look at these little children, and I come and I take the computer from them. So he's in the environment where he did the crime. So he's there, he's feeling a particular way if he has a conscience, but he has to go to rehab, and there must be a positive report on his results. Right? So who achieves here now? Who achieves here? Everybody wins.
Both sides.
Correct.
Because
and even the school itself could, if he is paid to do that work, the money would go towards buying back the computers.
No, they're not saying. So that's the point I'm making. So the money they save, what is going to happen?
Yes.
They're going to buy 10 computers now.
There you go.
Because they save $80,000 from this fella's skill.
Natasha is answering the question before we ask no, because what role should the public and communities play in reintegration?
And that is it.
This is it.
That is it. So you have to, this is what I'm saying, we leave the prison service out completely. We don't involve them enough. And I feel sorry, I want to say this, deceased Randolph Charles, I met him when I joined the service. He left in 1986. He retired. So I tell you how old, and he died not too long ago. Right? A day he called me. He said, Mr. Wilson, he said, I don't envy you. He said, because in my time, I never had to deal with what you're dealing with. Garth and Natasha, let me tell you something. I will go to my grave with those words. You know why? I felt powerful because every time you take over as a prison commissioner, everybody could do it better. When I was there, I could think on how you allowing this and how you allowing that. And people could be deceitful too. And I want to say this. The Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, we have a sub-accounting unit. We don't get funding that we could use. We have to go to the ministry. So when somebody say, well, Gerard Wilson was there, and why he didn't do this and why he did? Gerard Wilson couldn't do that. He could only recommend. But when it goes to the ministries, the powers that be determines what they do and what they don't.
So let me ask this question.
There you go. Leading us to the next question.
Because what kind of political will is needed then?
That's
to
it.
reform?
A political will to sit down and really, we try to get a nursery going at Golden Grove, right? Because we were saying that when sometimes mothers have babies and what have you, and instead of, removing the child from the mother, they would have this nursery there. The funding was never approved. And then after they said, okay, when you look at it, how many female inmates make babies, right? So that's it. But there are other things that we could have opened there. But when we suggest that and it goes for funding, if the person sitting there doesn't understand, they will blanket. They don't understand what are the priorities for prison. So when a commissioner sits down there, and Garth and Natasha, the commissioner will be very circumspect. He would not, depending on who he is, he would not be radical in his approach. So he would not come and tell the public, well, I tried to get this and they didn't give me. You understand what I say?
Right,
he has to work at what he has.
So let me ask you, so if the prison, they need, let's say, bike tires,
right,
for the motorbike,
right,
the prison do have a budget where they can say, all right, I'll go and buy some bike tires, and you have to go to the ministry to get the tires.
What you have to do in your budget proposal, you have to indicate, I would want this.
Right.
When it goes, the PS and the ministry will determine what money they release for what.
And that is the problem.
And that's also, so when people talk about, oh, he was there, what does he do? You would, and let me tell you something, Garth and Natasha, and this is not boasting. In my short time, there were 21 initiatives. I did 21, including that memorial park you see in Golden Grove there, the physiotherapy that helps not only officers, but their families, physio. If you have an issue, you could go there and get that. All you do is contribute something to the material they have to get, right?
Yes. No, before we go to that, in terms of the political will, I mean, we started off talking about this 1838 Act, right? The politicians are the lawmakers, so they are the ones who are in control of the system as it is legislated, as the rules that govern the operation of the prison, and they literally have the power to change the environment that prison officers have to work in.
Never put myself in some trouble here, Garth and Natasha, right?
Yeah,
for something. In administrative corrections, that's one of the things I taught, right? Not Trinidad, worldwide, administrative correction, a theory tells you that if the organization, whatever is done in the organization, does not impact the electorate, they don't get funded. Think about the prison service. Why would you give any priority to the prison service and prisoners? Who cares? But I will ensure that the police get, because if I bring crime down,
yes,
it will help.
And they're more visible too.
They're more visible.
Nobody knows what happens.
Right. So if what they're saying worldwide, this is not Trinidad and Tobago, so I'm not blaming anybody here, is worldwide. It's a theory in administrative corrections. Because people really don't care much about inmates behind bars, then if I don't give funding, it doesn't impact me.
But doesn't given the rate of incarceration currently, isn't the net spread a little wider in the sense that more people will know of somebody who is in prison or know of a prison officer? Do you think that more people should be by virtue of the fact that you know somebody who's
Mhm.
been to prison, have more of an interest in what goes on there?
So the only reason a prison officer becomes popular is when somebody knows somebody that get locked up. That's the only reason they know you. If they say, you know, any prison officer, nobody wants to know them. But when somebody gets locked up, then they remember Gerard Wilson used to work in the prison, so they may call him. Other than that, they want to see me. If they shake man, it's with one finger.
But why then should people care then? Why should they care
About
what happens in the prison?
The
how
thing
it
is,
runs.
right, they have to be educated. Like how we chatting here, they need to understand the philosophy and what gives. Because we keep saying that 95% of the inmates will return to society. They'll be a neighbor, they'll be in the maxi with you, they'll be all over the place with you. What do you want us to do? Do you want them to come and you want us to warehouse them? Or you want us, when they come in, we could sit with them and try to change the focus and change the behavior? What do you want?
I said, Wilson, we can never get to the end of this, you know, because I listen. Let me see how fast because I have so many questions. The more you answer questions, the more questions coming in my head.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and Natasha, the number 11, we go to that just now because the media have a very important role to play.
Yeah.
But I remember when we interviewed Natasha, was Natasha De Leon here.
De Leon, yeah.
An individual felt so aggrieved by that interview that we spoke about how she changed and all the things that she's doing now, and she's rehabilitating herself step by step every day. And then the person come and say, all you know what she did?
Right.
And
They go right back to
sins.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is the attitude. That's why we ask the question, you know, the how society and all of that. And do they really understand that people can change, and if they want to and they give them the opportunity, you embrace them? Because there are a number of countries out there who using former prisoners to get advice from, you know.
Yeah.
It's only we that shun.
So let me teach you something this morning. One of the crucial things in rehabilitation, like Natasha De Leon, my concern is that they reach the pinnacle and then they start to decline. That is my concern. So you see what you're saying there?
Yeah.
Is exactly what will happen to her eventually. And I've spoken to her, and she told me that she has her good days and she has her bad days. She told me, she said, Mr. Wilson, I went to Point 14 to do some, the prison went down there to do some little performance and what have you. She said, imagine I am standing here in my house right over there. I can't go home.
Wow.
Right? So you reach the pinnacle, you go to the schools, and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, then you start to regress. And that is my concern with rehabilitation. Rehabilitation must have an outcome.
Right.
It cannot be, they can't put a lid over it. You must have so what am I, because what is going to happen, the other inmates going to look at her and laugh and say, look, you playing okay, you in school, you doing this, you doing this, what they do for you? You see the blank here? So they form subcultures. And that is another thing. In prison, inmates form subcultures. So when you come into prison, you go in the wrong cell, they tell you, where you coming here for, boy? Thief had 2 gas tank. But you say, I'm sour. Look, when you come out, come and look up, I got thing and so you get another kind of crime. Because here what they say. They say they have and we don't have. That is subculture. We don't have and they have. So let's take let's take from them.
So I said before, Mr. Wilson, we have to bring it back here. Let's go to the next
Yeah,
question.
so the final question for this segment is how does the media now help or hurt the public's understanding of prison life?
Right. Like what is happening now in this present scenario with the 65-inch TV that people say people sneak in and put in their pocket and vault and a sort of foolishness.
Yes.
That will create, you have to do more investigative journalism.
Yeah.
And come to and I want us, when I held the seat, I remember, you know there's a thing in media that they say efforts to contact the commissioner pro futile.
Yes.
Don't do me that. Don't do me that. Don't do me that at all. I remember somebody, I heard it on a thing, and I found the reporter. I made some calls. I found the reporter. I say, what number you call? They tell me, well, I only have one number. And I said, let me tell you something. I say, you see that? You see Gerard Wilson? We'll talk to any reporter, anytime, anywhere. And in fact, I gave the, they could tell you that in the media. I gave the media access to the prison. They did that documentary in the prison.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I remember.
And then you had a sort of podcast type where you used to sit and
conversations with the commissioner. That was one of the initiatives too.
Yes.
You ask questions and I answer. Never run from the media. Never. Because I want them to know. And then I always tell other commissioners, don't be afraid of the media. The thing about it, don't go there and try to embarrass the administration and say they're not doing this and then. That is not it. Always remember that the administration will be there to assist. You have to work with what you have. But don't go out there bashing anybody. That is not your role. Your role is to work and to get the message across that, look, things are happening. You're not going out there bashing like some normal PO1. You have a responsibility as a commissioner to lead, and you have to lead in a particular professional manner, right? And I always say, I don't go out there playing for people to hear what. If I have to speak to you about something, I will talk to you one side. I will say, let's talk about this. I don't like this, but I'm not going to come on air and bash anybody. That is foolish. So as a commissioner, you have to temper your language and so on. But I would talk to the press anywhere.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we are unpacking so much with Mr. Wilson, former Commissioner of Prisons, here this morning. I have a dream, Mr. Wilson, for that part of MSP that is unused, which is the intention was to build a modern facility prison. The fence is already there.
Yeah.
What I would like to see happen now is to let's start building that modern facility. Yeah. Empty Port of Spain, turn that into a museum.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to demolish it, but turn it into a tourist attraction now where people can pay a little money and go inside and see what a prison was like and where people stayed and all of that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Of course. And in fact, I suggested that they close Port of Spain prison and move the inmates up there. So, and what you're doing too, the same staff that you're using in Port of Spain, you carry them up there. So there's not a staff issue.
Right.
And then what they do, they would build centers up there, trade shops and what have you. That was the reason behind the fence when they were going to close Carrera.
I remember that.
That did never happen. I don't know why. But that was the reason. That is why they built that fence. So they're going to put trade shops and different things there in order to bring them up. It never happened. And again, Garth and Natasha, if that's what I talk about resuscitation, if we don't sit down and look at the prison reform and the prison system in a holistic way, we will end up in problems. So and I would like to know how many of the persons doing home invasions and committing crimes would have passed through the remand system already.
Correct.
Yes.
And that is why I suggested too that you have your focus programs on remand. So that what happens if you enter a program in remand, when you go for your matter, whether it's in the low court or the high court, you could use the fact that you attended a program would help you in your sentencing.
Yes.
How important is it is a prison inspector to the prison? Let's deal with that.
Well, since I joined to be quite frank with you, since I joined the prison service, the only thing I know of the inspector, he would make wrongs. Well, at that time, he would make wrongs with the commissioner on certain days. They would come in, make wrongs and so on, and then the prisoners would appeal to him because the inspector is seen as neutral, right? And what happens, what he's used for, when matters go to the commissioner, the inmate could appeal and it goes to the inspector. And he has the final say. That's the reason for him.
Serious?
Yes. He is a judicial officer.
But how effective is it?
Well, we have in my time and even before, I can remember matters really. It from the person, and then the inmates are smart. They know that if they appeal and it goes to the inspector, they will go out of prison without it ever being tried. They know that. They're smart.
Do you see, again, and we want to make a recommendation, should we have a board instead of one? Because to expect one, and this person is a legal officer, right?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. Must be a lawyer.
So if I have cases back to back, and I plan to visit the prison, let's say Tuesday.
Every year.
But a case comes up. Which one do you think I take in? I go into the court because I'm getting paid for that.
That's right, yeah.
So the prison becomes neglected after that time, and a prison inspector might just make wrongs maybe once a year. Now, if we have a board of inspectors comprising of former commissioners...
Well, not a board of inspectors, a board.
Well, a board of correction, because remember...
Right, we say a board of inspectors.
Board of correction.
Right, yeah.
Right. So you have comprised of former prisoners,
Right.
prison officers,
Right.
and because we know the system inside out. You know the system inside out. When we make rounds,
Yes.
then we will have the time, because remember, most are almost retired and all of that. So we will have the time now to visit every prison
Yes.
and make recommendations to the Homeland Security.
That's right.
I would love to see that.
Well, that is something, again, when the question you asked Natasha about, the modern Caribbean and modern system and moving to that, that is one of the things that we can look at. Whether we have a board so that you have some level of neutrality. So, inmates wouldn't say, oh, the commissioner
and
doing
also
this.
various perspectives too on the system. So maybe you have a former officer or commissioner, maybe you have a former inmate, maybe you have someone, an attorney, of course, but
right, you have the front, yeah.
so that you can address all of the relevant
That's
issues.
right, a psychologist.
In the system. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You have somebody like Andrew Douglas who
That's
spend
right,
years,
right, who could
and you have
sit
somebody who
on-
spend a short term.
That's right, yeah.
So because, I mean, I came up with the and I didn't even know that until we put a radio station in the prison.
Right.
Because in the dormitory, there was a little speaker on top, before you go down the step.
Yes.
And Panorama Night, my ears was up listening to who playing.
Yes.
But I could hardly hear it because it wasn't playing loud. And I'm saying, but we really cut off from the world.
Yes.
So that all part of that reform is necessary.
Yeah.
And we hope that this conversation may trigger, especially with addiction, because as you said, how many people committing crimes out here now are have been on remand?
That's right.
And I understand the craving. And I am telling you, I am seeing it in their actions. I am seeing it, but we're not good at collecting data.
Yeah, we're not good at all.
At all.
No.
So between St. Anne's Mental Institution, forensics, coming together with the judiciary, police, we now should implement, and carve it in stone, that from the time you enter, especially for a drug-related offense, you get drug tested one time and collect the data.
Yeah.
Vision and Mission have the data we collected.
Right.
So
right.
we know how many people with cocaine, with marijuana, molly, and all of these things. We have a list, but it was never used.
Yeah.
Natasha and I did research, we compiled reports, we submitted it to ministries. They were never used. So I'm asking, are we just whistling in the dark here and hoping for the best?
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency. And did anything the commissioner say this morning here surprise you? Should we invest more in rehabilitation or keep a tough on crime stance? Would you support restorative justice if it were offered to victims and offenders? How do you feel about that out there? Look at Dependency. Dependency started from my experience. That's how it started, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson, I don't enjoy, and every time I look back at some of the things I did in the past, it still bothers me today.
Yes.
I try to make amends, like the hospital I was telling you. I understand the lady name is Velma Leith.
Okay.
I never met her. She never called me.
Yes.
And then my school friend Selma out. Diwali weekend coming up, right?
Right.
And I want people to understand what craving is. And maybe you all will look at an addict from a different light. Because I see people now, it's a style now, 5 people gang up on an addict and beating him to the inch of his life and all this kind of thing, because they don't understand craving. Mr. Wilson, if an addict will steal from his mother, you are nobody for me to steal from.
Yeah.
Right? And we steal from our mothers, we steal from our families.
Yeah.
And that morning was a Thursday morning, because the Friday was the holiday, and I got up as usual after I managed to sleep from about 5 in the morning, and I came out the road. Now remember, keep in mind, Garth St. Clair was one of the most respected physical training instructors in the Defense Force. I was respected from Chief of Defense Staff coming right down.
Right.
That was me.
Right.
Fast forward to when I got discharged.
Right.
I stole everything from my mother.
Right.
And I sold some drapes. She didn't know.
Right.
When she went to put up the drapes gone. She said,
Lord.
She go on the back step and put up her hand in the gap and say, Lord, Father, kill my son for me, please. And I thinking, but for some drapes, boy. She won't go kill me for some drapes. But she, by that time, she was tired.
Yes.
I left home, going on the hunt. This is what we do. We prowl.
Yes.
And my mind told me, go in the hospital. So I walk through the hospital and looking busy at papers in my hand, like I come to do business by looking at thief people thing. And I passed, went on a corridor and saw a bag on a desk. A purse, a handbag, sorry. Well, you know, my heart started to pound. So I watch up, I watch down, and I go in the room. And when I opened the bag, an envelope with $1,800 in it.
Wow.
Mr. Wilson, I said, well, yes, the weekend start, nice here. Yes. And as I walking back out now, a door was open. When I look in the office, it's a lady a young lady I went to school with. Yeah. She looked at me. She didn't say a word because she knew what was going on with me by then. She didn't say a word to me, and I walk off. As I go in, you know, Sando Hospital, right? So as I walk in, out, speed going out the hospital now, and approaching just to go to the promenade by CID there, two security guards stand up in front by the gate. Wow. And all I hear in the back of me is, thief, thief, police, hold him, security, thief, thief. So when I look back, I see this little lady running towards me with a lab coat on. So here my decision now. The security guards, the big fellas, so I said, me ain't going through that now. So I turn around now, run past her, run back in the hospital yard, and run into go down by Naprima both side now. And as I take off, everybody join the chase. If you see people, when I look back, I throw in the third gear, going down the hill, and as I pass in Ward 1, a madman, he just sit down taking sun on the balcony and see the commotion, and he decided to join the chase too. And take off and pass everybody coming behind me. When I was back, I only seen the shirt flying like a cape in the back like Batman. And this man coming towards me, so I dropped it. I say, look, God, give this up. So I dropped the money. I said, look the money, give her, give it. The man jump over the money and keep running behind me. I said, Jesus, Lord, what is he doing? So I had to throw in the fort now and try to go down Broadway now. And I just make a left and make a right and go in a yard. Now, an old lady outside, you know, sucking her mango on the step, see me running the yard, and she was saying, Sonny, what happened? And I'm pointing. Same time, madman coming towards me with security behind him, and coming a flying kick. Coming at me. I say, he trying to play hero to impress them. You understand? So I step aside now, and Mr. Man hit the fence.
Wow.
But the drop now is a drain about 10 feet. So I had to try and hold here. I said, me go responsible for this man dying on me. So I grab him, as I grab the security grab me. The lady stand there watching me the mango so. She about to open my mango like she couldn't believe it. And so they walk me back up the road. And by that time, the hospital, you know, hardly anything happened in San Fernando. Instead of the officers carrying me up to send to CID, they carry me back through the hospital. Well, I get about 200 tap going up. Now, you hear what I'm telling you? A well-respected individual in the military reached to this, you know. They carry me up, the madman only holding me, and he wouldn't let me go at all. They had to tell he was like a little Rottweiler. He just hold on to me and not let it go. And they carry me up, and by that time, it reminded me of our Independence Parade we did in San Fernando. You know, everybody's come out on the balcony in the hospital watching. That's how the hospital look. When I watch up, if you see crowd, I'm a San Fernandian, you know. They tap me up, carry me back through the gate, carry me CID. And as they carry me inside CID,
who I go meet?
My girlfriend. My former girlfriend. She was a detective.
That's a walk of shame.
If you see the shock on this young lady's face, when she saw me, she was a detective. I don't know if Joanna, she was working there at the time.
So that's my boyfriend, right?
You know, we were, you say childhood sweethearts, you know. She was crying while fingerprinting me. Now, folks, I telling you all this, not as a boast, you know, but to how powerful substance abuse is. That I couldn't stop myself, you know, and I am hoping if Miss Leith still alive, that I will be able to explain to her that I didn't target her. I saw a handbag with money in it so that I could have drugs to buy. That was it.
God, I just want to say one thing. I know we didn't touch on it. I want to say one thing so the public can hear. The grabbers and jammers is an issue, right? Always talking about that. But I could tell you, I can't tell you on the radio, but I could tell you everything is okay. But I'll tell you why. Grabbers and jammers, they talk about, and I'll say this to you. In a prison abroad, the inmates realize that if they stand up in the bathroom and put one foot on the pipe, they will get reception. Yeah. Right? That is how dread the cell phone thing is. Grabbers and jammers is not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. It's all over the world.
Right.
And the thing, you know what is, that's why I say prisons are microcosm of society. If you leave south and you come along the road and you reach somewhere else, you go around, you forget your phone, you're going back home for it. Especially if it's open and your wife home. You're going back for it, right? The thing about it, we have become, you talk about addiction, we have become so addicted to the phone that we can't leave it alone. When inmates go in the prison, they will do anything to get this phone, right? Good. That is one thing. So you have the grabbers and jammers, and then people criticize it and say, oh, yeah, grabbers and... All over the world you have issues. You have shortcomings and you have issues with the technology. Because I can tell you that inmates are also very brilliant at doing things to get the things organized.
Yes.
That is one aspect of it. The other aspect, it would be irresponsible of me to tell you why the grabbers and jammers work.
Okay.
I'll tell you that off here. But it works.
But Mr.
It does.
Wilson,
Because passing from Port of Spain Prison on Frederick Street, you can't use a phone.
But apart from that, then the secretary of the association is saying that he can use his phone, but the inmates using their phone inside. They're able to use their phone. Right?
Right.
Right. So enough said.
But Mr. Wilson, why don't we have yet in 2025, despite the fact that we have the technology, why don't we have an efficient means for inmates to communicate with the outside?
No, but okay, nice question. I'll edify you now.
Yes.
You have phones for inmates to use. That was introduced years now. They have a phone. You could go and you could use the phone.
You have a phone bank?
Of course, they have a phone. They have a phone. Why would I want to have intimate conversations on a phone bank? Why would I do that?
Because somebody listening. Or it's been
recorded. How would I get
because that's the only means that you have.
Right. No, my point is why the cell phone is so attractive. How would I be able to see where my how would I be able to see where my girlfriend went 2 o'clock in the morning, where she is? How I seeing that?
Yeah.
How am I having intimate situations? I can't talk on the air with thing on a normal bank that cuts off at 4 o'clock. I want that in the night. I want at 2 o'clock in the morning. I want to call. I want to call to see. I want to see your face and where you are if you're home in your house.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we.
It's control. It's about control. So the cell phone is not. Yes, you want to have legitimate phones. That's fine. That's for the person who really honest in what they're doing.
Yes.
But you see the others who up to all kind of tricks. You would not believe. So, another thing, God, you would not believe how many of these people take the cell phone, call random numbers, and pick up girls. You would not believe, and come to visit them too. And I'm not talking about bottom of the barrel, you know. Nice girls because of the lyrics. They could talk. Wow. So you have people coming, I come to see John Brown. Never see John Brown in their life, you know. But John Brown talking to them on the phone. First he will tell them, at certain times they say, girl, I was busy until he finally, when he captured them now into his grasp, he tell them, they're not really in jail. And then he started to pull a ranker thing and, she wanted to see him, so.
He live in a gated community.
A gated community. There we
Folks,
go.
if you just joining us, you're listening to Mr. Gerard Wilson here with us this morning. And we'll take your calls in a moment. As soon as Tamika returns, we're going to take your calls. But have you learned anything? And did we reshape your thinking in any way that you, the members of the public, sometimes cause the pushback and have government pushback or dress back when you start to, comment or object to the because not understanding that when you create a proper environment for prisoners, you also do it for the prison officers.
Thank you.
And people don't understand that. You care about prison officers, right? And you don't want the prison officers to do that. But would you support Mr. Wilson? First of all, I have so much questions for you.
Yeah, man, shoot.
Cigarettes. Cigarettes
course.
are not illegal in Trinidad and Tobago. Why should it be banned in prison?
Right, and then we spoke about things that are prohibited and things that are unauthorized.
Yes.
I mean, when I joined the service, God, I had to give, and I work in the condemn, I had to give the condemn man a cigarette and light it for him too, you know.
Right.
And the cost if he can come and light it, you know. Right? So the thing about cigarettes was in the condemn at one time is there.
Right.
And cigarettes is the most prominent bartering tool
Yes.
in the prison. You will get, when you see a cigarette is $100 or one, $200 or one, you know that the place clean.
Yeah.
Right? So that if you legalize the cigarette, it may curb some of the violence and what have you, and you know, men submitting themselves to foolishness to get a cigarette.
Tonki mash. I smoke tonki mash every day.
Tonki mash, that is another thing, yeah.
Because and now ask any prison officer who doing a night shift, who smokes cigarettes, to do a whole shift without smoking one. It almost impossible,
that's
right?
impossible, yeah.
Right. But we take people off the streets and put them in prison and expect them to just be normal, not going to cold turkey, and not, as I said, we don't understand addiction. We talk it, but you see, and I don't blame them, because people who never experience it, maybe we don't have a clear understanding of, I will understand.
Right.
If I go to a prison and I say, but I want a cigarette real bad, boy. What's people who normal working in this radio station and other radio stations, they must go outside and take a smoke.
Right. Yeah.
They have to.
They have to. The 7 minutes they call it, right?
Yes.
They must do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it is associated relaxing the nerves, relaxing the person. You take that first pull and it is, so people, normal people outside here cannot work an entire day without smoking a cigarette once they smoke cigarettes.
You know when the remand is the most quiet? On a Sunday after they eat, and men in the cell smoking cigarettes.
Let's take some calls, right? Before we run out of time, because you know we could continue talking forever here, Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
And we should you know, do a part 2 of this program.
Yeah.
But 6223937, keep your comments short. Let us know if what is your idea of prison. Should it be a place of rehabilitation, or should it be ball and chain with sledgehammer and concrete
And hang them high.
and just hang them high? All right, let's go. First call. Please be respectful.
Good morning, Gerard. Good morning, Natasha, Commissioner.
Morning.
Gerard, you owe me some sweet chicken, I got. My pot was on when I was laughing at that one.
Sorry
now,
about that.
I am not a prison officer, not a police officer, but I could tell you, I know about a prisoner who was able to seduce 2 men while in prison using a cell phone. He painted the bow of a ship on the wall in the back of him and presented the photo in such a way to make them believe he was on a cruise ship.
In Trinidad?
In Trinidad. And
Well,
he was
you know
able to get
ingenious
those 2 men
these
to
fellas
come
are.
to prison and to pay the lawyer to defend him.
Wow, you see?
Sir?
And that's skillful too bad.
Thank you, my
Thank
brother.
you, sir.
I'm sorry about your stew chicken.
Yeah. Pick it up, man. Pick it up. Say what don't kill us, fatten.
Mr. Wilson, you told us that time you saw a microwave in prison, you know?
A microwave, yeah, they took a box and they put some foil and they put a metal across it and then they attach it to the current, and the officer say when he hear this thing sizzling, the prisoner say, oh God, Mr. So-and-so, just let it finish cook now before you take it. I think that was in the training college, yeah, a microwave.
Hello, good morning. 6223937. Did you learn anything? What's your idea? What would you like to see?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Wilson, good morning.
Morning, sir.
I know you might remember the voice. But anyway, you know there's a system in Kenya. When you go before the court, when they send you to prison, they send you to class.
Okay.
You go straight into a class, you know.
Well done.
You have to learn something in the remand yard and sit and do it. You go to, you learn something. So when you come back out, you understand, we have into the society.
Yes.
I think they should look at that system instead of having men 5, 10, 15 years
That's
now
right.
in remand yard. Looking for mischief and doing all things.
I agree, sir.
Send them in a class. Have to learn something.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
I agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 6223937. Good morning. Mr. Philwood.
Let me tell you something. It was entertaining
educational, instructive. So, I mean, I'm trying not to make some adverse comments.
Yes.
Why would you not be training or be a very instructive part of this whole system to make this thing work? I've been asking for some weeks now, based on what I've been hearing from the other people.
Yes.
Where is the police? Where's the prison commissioner and all of this?
Yes.
It's, I mean, I am hearing people talking about going into the prison. Am I hearing anything about the prison commissioner? I think probably his hands are tied behind his back. I don't know. But the Wilson, you have enlightened us this morning with a whole number of things that we all have been asking about.
Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Wilson, if anybody in authority has listened to this morning, and they don't call you by tomorrow until let's fix this, Mr. Wilson, we're wasting time.
Thank you, Mr. Philbert. I appreciate it.
Wasting time, Mr. Wilson. All kind of thing happening there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we have people who could fix it. Mr. Wilson, when I went abroad for training, both in the UK and in the US, Scotland area, FBI area, it's past officers. You know, I'm not asking anybody for working because I, you know what I like to do.
Yeah, I know that. Yes. Yes.
And it's past officers with experience, people who have served at the highest level, people of excellence, and the trainers, I met them.
Yes.
It's not about age, it's experience.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, you have exhibited that this morning. What is wrong with us?
Thank you, sir.
So, listen, look, I want to thank you, Gat and Natasha, morning. I didn't tell all of that this morning. This is one of the best experience I've had in terms of listening to a discourse on security matters. So, Mr. Wilson, I ain't telling you go to hear the class. You're there already. I don't know why we're not better off with people like you around.
Yes.
I think it is really disrespectful not to engage.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
I
it.
wanted to thank you and we speak again.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Thanks.
Mr. Philbert, thank you very much for calling. 622-3937, good morning. Hello?
Good morning to the St. Clair's.
Hey.
And good morning to Mr. Willow.
Morning, my brother. Morning.
All right, you learn anything, caller? What would you suggest?
Mr. Willow.
Yes, sir.
Who knows it feels it, and who feels it knows it.
Yes, sir.
You are a reservoir of information concerning the prisons, because long ago we had prisons, penitentiary, reformatory.
That's right.
Correctional, and now it's rehabilitated.
Yeah.
So people like you must be on board anytime prison reform is mentioned. And furthermore, as a layman,
yes,
a prison is supposed to be in a place far away from the public so the jammers could work. When you put a jammer in for a prison,
yes,
all those businesses around the place will be affected.
I hear you.
So I hope that the forces would use their brains and utilize you. You are wealth of information. Good show.
Yes.
God bless. Stay home.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
A friend of mine now tell me she got a call from a prisoner. He tell her he was offshore. Yeah, he said he was offshore.
I'll tell you, not easy. Wow. I could give you stories.
Hello, good morning. 622.
Morning.
Good morning, Gata Tatasha. Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
Morning, sir.
Well done, sir. I just got to say, it's a good program. I had to agree with Mr. Philbert. When the both of you come and talk matters of security, I listen.
Thank you.
Well done, sir. Gata Tatasha, you guys, blessings.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 622-3937. What did you learn this morning? Anything that made sense to you, and how do you think we should implement it? Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning, sorry.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Wilson, good
yes,
morning.
Sir. Morning.
Call it. Listen, I want to be brief here.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson, God could attend to this too. Since Wayne Chan's time,
yes,
I was calling for that prison in Port of Spain to be removed.
Yes.
It's a dangerous situation. It's a time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb. Let me tell you why it's a ticking time bomb. I will be brief. If you have a festival like Carnival,
right,
and this is the time some people try to do a jailbreak.
Yes.
When that happens, who are you looking for in this crowd?
That's right.
That is why I always tell you, if you watch all the prisons outside, their prisons is outside the city, you know.
Yes,
Mostly
yeah.
it's desert, you know.
Yes.
You might say they have more land than we. That is one segment of it.
Yes.
But this prison here, it wasn't built to be that kind of prison, you know.
Yes.
Because if you go inside there, still you're seeing remnants of the slave business inside of there still.
Yes.
People still using pail and things like that. That should be removed long time. Condemn that place. Is a situation there. And another thing, earlier on in this program, I keep asking people, when people come in and spend 5 years, 10 years, and 4 years, he or she remain allowed to sit in the prison for 5 years and don't take part in the program. Somebody say, well, you can't.
Well,
listen, hello. When you come in the prison, your rights suspended. The prison is a different situation to outside.
Yeah.
We controlling here.
Yes.
And what we say goes.
Yes.
We have programs. You is to take part, and you must take part in it.
You can legislate. Yeah.
You spending 5 years inside here, and you're going outside the same way because you ain't want to take part in it, and we can't touch you because, well, the law. Listen, to hell with that. This is our prison.
Thank you, Cole.
Here, you have to.
Thank you.
622-3937. Good morning.
Morning.
Please, yes, turn it off completely. And if you're just joining us, you're listening to Dependency, and we've had a very great conversation with Mr. Gerard Wilson here this morning. And we taking your calls now to tell us what you learned from what was said here this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dad.
Morning.
Mr. Wilson.
Morning, ma'am.
Mr. Wilson, I had a friend of mine, husband, who was in Portugal prison.
Yes.
And to me, I find with the cell phone problem, they need to find a solution, which I think, as a citizen, put plenty phones in the jail. So that will eliminate some of the illegal phones. Because what happens, when a man is in prison, or a woman, she can't talk to her daughter, her son, her lawyer. Some of them don't even know the lawyer, don't even come and visit them. So they have to find a solution. To eliminate the amount of cell phones in prison. And Mr. Wilson, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How much money does a month they take for a prisoner in prison? The government pays.
Say again? How
much does it cost to keep one prisoner in jail?
Yeah, I know that that the former minister, the former AG Alwari, did a comprehensive check. It's quite a lot. I think
it was 25,000.
Yeah, something like yeah,
a month.
But I'll tell you, it also incorporates the staff and the salaries.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Mr. Gad, you was in. I know you was a member of the defense force.
Yes.
Mr. Gad in Port of Spring prison, which is my friend husband who just came out, told me every day they cook turkey. They gyre it, they stew it, they fry it, and this air no lie. Stew turkey, dal, maybe on a Sunday, if they're lucky, they will get chicken.
Right.
I don't know if Mr. Wilson did attest to that.
Right, yeah. What also?
Badly.
Yeah, I will explain that. I'll explain that. What happens to a lot of times? A lot of times, what you have, and that's the point I was making. That the commission, and then they'll say the commissioner cooking that. Right. The thing about it is that we go because turkey is cheap, relatively cheap, and it's easy to prepare. Right? They would get a lot of turkey. Whatever they have is that they will use that. Sometimes you are in short supply of food, and you just ration room officers in Carrera. I remember going down Carrera Day, and the ration room officer had callaloo, and he do some. So he improvised. He went out in the yard and he picked up things from there. Brought season from home to cook, and I admire that so much because he didn't have to do that, but his heart is in it, and he brought things from home in order to prepare the meal in a palatable way. So it is not always it. What you see is not always how the whole picture looks.
Rosemary, morning. Good morning, Garth Natasha, Mr. Wilson. Glad to you. Thank you, Rosemary, for joining us. You're all the way from in Brooklyn. Garth, the prisons. Rosemary said the prisons and the justice system needs real reform. I think they should really have a serious rehabilitation program in prison with stipulations when they get out, especially for drugs. And you asked me about Defense Force. Defense Force didn't know about it either. So when they locked me up in Tetron Bark cell, I was having nightmares. I was dreaming cocaine literally.
Right.
And until I had no other choice but plan to escape.
Right.
And I did escape.
Okay.
You know, I tried from Tetron first, but the dogs and them stopped me. Some reason them decided to walk with dogs that evening. But the next day, I fake a sick and they carried me in the hospital.
And that was it.
I jumped through a window and these two RPs stand up watching a bench.
Yeah.
It's about 45 minutes past before them realized I was gone.
Yes.
And I really mashed them up because they didn't expect me to do that, being an RP myself when I was an RP. But the craving was stronger than that loyalty.
The withdrawal symptoms.
Of course.
As you're discussing food, is there can you order from a special diet? Remember when we visited Wandsworth Garth and we were speaking with, oh God, what's his man's name? Help me.
The governor?
No. The prisoner we went to see, yes.
Right.
Anyway,
yes.
we spoke to him about, what prison is like in the UK, and he said they get a menu that they choose from.
And if they don't get what they ask
and
for,
if they don't get, they can complain to the governor.
But that's first of all you're talking about. We don't
because
have that.
I can't go to prison here because I'm vegan. What am I going to eat?
That? But within recent times, before, like when I joined the service in '83, they had, God, you know that, pea sauce and rice. So they call it pea sauce, you get your rice, your pea sauce and rice. A little piece of chicken neck or something like that.
Yeah.
But now you have special diet, so, it is improving. But I'll tell you, what is laughable, Natasha, is that when people talk about bad food in jail, right, it's laughable to me.
Yeah.
You know why? Because the prisoners cook their own food. We don't cook it. The prison officers don't cook it. The inmates cook.
So they make the officer loaf too, the inmates?
Of course they do.
Okay.
One of the best tasting bread you'll
I've
ever
heard that,
taste in
I have heard
your
that.
life.
I have heard that all people can't get over that at all.
Yeah.
So the
Best
point
bread
is,
ever.
when prisoners are attacking the food, they're really attacking their own.
Fellow inmates.
That's right.
Lucy Regis, good morning
I
to
have
you.
a story about that too.
Yeah.
Freaking hops bread.
Yeah, now eat a house bread, I could have bought some man with house bread instead, trust me.
Now once it overnight, you have some
Mr.
problems.
Wilson, I could have make a shank out of a house bread.
That was a bad, you had a bad day.
Listen, boy, all
you mean when you were there or
I'm
after?
telling you, when I was there, I couldn't eat the thing. The thing used to stay right here, stand up on my chest like a man. Right here, so.
You had to take out the bread pet, you had to take out the bread pet.
Well, I didn't look, remember, I know true member, I just come in the prison. So I feel, once they give me the bread, listen, I had a choice, two choices. I either try to eat it or bust somebody head with it. Like how hard that bread was. I said, but these people are real wicked, boy. No, it's prison, me. Not me. Lucy Regis, good morning. Good morning, everyone. People are not asking about the deficiencies in the justice system. The people are the ones who have to make demands.
We need to get a judge or magistrate in here to discuss that.
Yeah,
it would not
we
be
need to
fair
find
to
out.
ask Mr. Wilson.
No, and I'm not going there at all because everybody afraid to go there, the justice system.
Correct.
I like to leave that alone because by the time I leave here and driving down the road, they send to tell me about some pre-action protocol letter because I made a statement. The thing about it, we could say on the surface that, things need to improve. I know that they have the judge alone trials now, they're trying to speed up certain things, and that would help. But I always say, God, that I don't know. I can't speak for the judicial system. I don't know how they would have handled the case. I don't know. So I don't want to come and criticize anything. I'm just saying we all know that it could improve.
Yes, of
6223957, good morning.
We have to get CTU stuff before we close.
Yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Garth, Natasha, and the former commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
Hinkson, put up CTU stuff for us in the meantime, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Okay. So I want to start off by saying thanks to the men and women and Mr. Wilson for deciding to go into such a service like the prison service.
Thankless job.
Yes.
I just want to start off with, the officers that go there and decide to make a honest service of themselves to the country, because I hear Mr. Wilson there and there are things he cannot even speak about, right? And I am sure there are officers who would have risked their life, who are risking their life as we speak, to carry information here and there, to do the job that they do, to do searching. I think they search the prison too, Mr. Wilson, that is true, on a regular basis. And I think there are officers who cannot say, they cannot even go home I think they risk their life and their family life. The honest officers who cannot even say exactly what they do, but they're risking their life. And, I just want to ask Mr. Wilson this, if you're an officer in this environment now, and you are hearing things in the media that is sort of gaslighting the public to believe that prison officers these are a bunch of corrupted people who shouldn't even be there, and you have thousands of honest officers who know that for a fact that they're risking their life.
Yes.
And they are seeing the brother officers at other services looking down at them like, wait, they were always using this, there is this, they were, and the commissioner, his hands are tied based on the type of information he might have at the moment, and how disheartening and discouraging that could be. And what would you speak to officers like that? 'Cause I know you're well versed in what you do.
Yes.
And lastly, before I go, and the issue about cigarettes, I am almost sure that officers who do not smoke would be very not pleased to know if the place is full of smoke and they legalize cigarettes in a haphazard way.
Yes.
That could put, because I know people that die from lung cancer from cigarette smoke who don't smoke.
Secondary.
Sad case to me. So I just wanted to say thanks and that question, and thank you very much.
Okay, caller, no problem. But this will be done in a controlled environment and away from people who smoke. You have non-smoking area.
They call it the arena.
Right, Beverly Mawson, good morning to you. Good morning to all present. The therapeutic community approach would work fantastic for prison. Dal Mendoza, morning to you, my friend. Morning. In some countries, they have prisoners cleaning and cutting grass and the roadway with the presence of prison officers. Now, you all are dropping some very beautiful comments on Facebook. Mr. Wilson, I urge you to go back later on.
Sure.
And you look and if you can answer some of them.
Sure.
Because people are asking questions, so you could engage some of our folks on Facebook. YouTube, you showed up for us this morning as usual. Thank you very much. Before we go back to the lines quickly, the court has ordered the forfeiture of illicit funds linked to a human trafficking and money laundering. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service disclosed in a statement issued Tuesday. The ruling stems from a 2009 investigation that began with a joint operation from Port of Spain Task Force, sought, and during a raid on a secret Sunday event along Lady Chancellor Road, officers rescued a Spanish-speaking minor who was placed in the care of counter-trafficking unit and child protection unit. Further intelligence led the police to a bar in Cunupia where 33 Spanish-speaking women were discovered during a search on November 25, 2029. The bar's manager was arrested. Investigators then focused on a businessman whose West Moorings properties were searched by Acting Sergeant Antoine. At one location, a large quantity of cash was seized, and on December 16, 2019, the businessman was formally charged with child trafficking-related offenses. Go to the next article quickly.
And it continues. The Financial Investigations Branch of the White Collar Crime Division, led by head Avinash Singh, with support from WASP, Weaver, Ali, and PC Pair, took charge of the financial probe. Their work traced the seized funds directly to unlawful activities. On the 29th of July, 2025, Acting Chief Magistrate Christine Charles, applying the Proceeds of Crime Act, ordered the following sums forfeited to the state: 36,000 TT, 8,000 US, 60,000 Guyanese dollars, just under 2,001, that's Chinese yuan, 965 EC, 345 euro, and 180 Hong Kong dollars. The court found evidence provided by PCP and the FIB team conclusive in establishing the businessman's direct or indirect involvement in money laundering and human trafficking. The TTPS described the outcome as a major breakthrough in the national fight against organized white-collar crime, and we will add human trafficking as well.
And there's an officer now who was sentenced to 16 years for his role that he played in trafficking two, I think it's Colombian women, Natasha, and he is now behind bars.
Yes.
Thankfully, due to the hard work of the counter trafficking unit, once again they have proven that they on top of their game, and they got another conviction, thank God.
Yes.
So possibly we can get to tier 1. You never know.
I think so.
6223937. Let's go back to the lines quickly. We take a couple more calls. We speak with Mr. Gerard Wilson. What do you have to say, caller?
Good morning.
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 Got Natasha
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
and Mr. Gerard Wilson.
Morning, ma'am.
Sound like Pet.
But Pet is my home name.
Pat Joseph.
Joseph.
Hey,
is
Patsy.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson over to
Yeah.
Anyhow, I just want to refer to the program that I know you all had at one time, where construction, where inmates were taught those kinds of skills.
Yes.
Because out here, being involved in community work,
Yes.
I know some of them still using the skill that
Yes.
they learn in there
Yes.
to make a honest dollar up to now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So why we can't expand on the programs like those things that we know are proven to work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well,
You're correct.
one of the issues is that we really have less convicted persons.
Right.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
And that is why we do a lot of the, we can't do the work that we used to do outside because we hardly have persons in there.
Okay.
Pat Joseph,
that's the problem.
please tell Val Warner to call me. Please, thank you. Val Warner.
That's no bad. That's no
That's your
bad.
batch?
Yes.
Yeah, nah,
Tell him hello for me.
Val and I grew up together
No, man,
in Cookie. Yes.
Yeah, that's no bad one.
Before he joined the work.
Yeah.
We,
1983. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Val Warner, boy.
That's how I know Pat.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Warner, boy,
Yeah.
wherever you are, boy. That's my boy. That's my horse.
Valentine. Yeah.
B is another article, Natasha, or we could move on to another
No, we can
call?
move on.
Let's go 6223997. Take one more before we wrap up. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning, Mr. Wilson.
Hey, morning, my brother. How are you?
Morning, I'm cool, man. Gat and Natasha. Well, one of the best programs. Had to be in the top 5. was the information. You all had to bring him back.
Yes.
He was informed like Grace this morning, Archbishop. Yeah. I thought they couldn't get better than that.
Yeah,
you all heard the sermon this morning, Gat?
No.
With Jason. Well, I think that was one of the best I hear from Archbishop Jason Gordon. He catch a form there like Kalupa. I feel like I gotta see again, yes, Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think that should be replayed. And but Mr. Wilson,
so,
as I say, you ain't better. I think you're on par with the Archbishop this morning, or what you delivered to us this morning.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
People are to think for themselves as well.
Yes.
I can remember vividly that I can remember watching live TV in America and seeing prisoners lie down in the cell watching on TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I try to figure, where is they come back and about things that exist. So it got to happen in those parts of the world. Not obviously, it will be controlled gas.
Yeah.
It must have been controlled.
Right, my brother, let me tell you something, right? The minimum standard rules, United Nations minimum standard rules says that the only thing inmate loses is their freedom. That's it.
Freedom.
That's it.
But Mr. Wilson, the average Trinidadian grew up seeing that looking out in the outside world, prisoners lie down in the cell on the bunker bed watching a television.
Yes.
So I don't know what was this big novelty, this big confusion, about 2 weeks occupying my brain space, but that's a foolishness.
Yeah.
The problem is, the senior counsel, Martin Daly, unless a government has the testicular fortitude to fix remand yard, which is linked with the justice system, justice denied, justice that is not swift, and you will always have this recidivism. This remand yard needs to fix. There are people languishing in there for 5 and 10 years
That's right.
without getting speedy justice.
And
so let me see which government.
Yeah.
So all it takes.
All right, my brother. Take care.
Good program. They're going to bring it back, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Powerful conversation highlights how the prison system is still shaped by colonial ideas focused on control, not real change.
And we say rehabilitation, but conditions and resources say otherwise. Overcrowding, lack of many programs, and lack of support from the political directors.
Shocking fact. there's only one official inspector of prisons monitoring the entire system in Trinidad and Tobago.
That is not oversight, that is a band-aid. No real mechanism for transparency or accountability.
We need a statutory independent prison board, properly resourced, well with legal authority to monitor, investigate, and drive reform.
Without that kind of structure, nothing changes. The system just continues in a cycle of neglect.
And this isn't about being soft on crime, it's about being smart, about justice and public safety.
Restorative justice may not be the magic solution, but it's worth serious consideration in a society where people live close together and healing is necessary.
Today's show was about asking hard questions and starting a conversation we can't afford to ignore.
We have heard a lot this morning about the roots of our prison system, the people working and living inside it, and the choices that we have as a society about what direction we take next.
So thanks again to our guest, former Commissioner Gerard Wilson, Commissioner of Prisons that is, for bringing his experience and honesty to the conversation. And thanks to you, our listeners and callers, for stepping into a topic that's uncomfortable but necessary.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about prisons. It's about justice, it's about dignity, and it's about what kind of country we are trying to build.
If you missed any part of these episodes, today's episode, you can find it on our Facebook and YouTube pages, and the conversation doesn't stop there. Keep sharing your thoughts online.
Next
Mr.
week
Wilson?
we'll be tackling another topic of issue of concern to you, our communities, but until then.
Mr. Wilson, closing comments?
Right. All I'd like to say, Gata Natasha, I'm asking the Commissioner, his senior staff, and all the hard-working prison officers to keep your heads up.
Yes.
Forget the old talk and all the noise, and just continue to do your best.
And you know, Mr. Karasri is not a very iraborobious, boisterous.
No, he's not.
media
He's
person.
not.
He's
Yeah.
more
Sounds like a very
introverted.
thoughtful
So,
person.
And talks
considerate.
Thinks about 100 times before he finally, he very methodical.
Yeah, but as a lawyer, he'll have to think before he speaks.
And of course, his assistant, Mr. Bruce,
Yes.
who I always
Yes.
highlight here as
Yes.
one of the men who stayed in programs and
Who
never
loves
been-
my
never left
tattoos.
it, yeah.
Yes, and yes, tattoo lady said hello. So, Mr. Wilson, let's keep it a secret, but we'll talk off air. But I thank you very much for coming here this morning. I know people listened, and we hope that we start a transition at some point.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
We really hope so. We're looking
Thank
forward
you
to
very
that
much,
transition from where we are now, that we can boast actually our crime rate is down because of starting, as you say, stop fighting on the streets.
Stop fighting crime on the streets.
I think when we come back from our mission, Garth, we'll bring back Mr. Wilson to discuss what we saw and what we learned from our
I think
mission.
we'll bring him back before we leave. But let's hit the last line, Natasha. Both of us say that this has been
Iron Dependency. See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday. Take care. Major news up next at 12.
Good afternoon.